This is the Panasonic Lumix FZ1000. This is one of the 3 cameras that Panasonic introduced last CES. The GH4, the well-known GH4, the small LX100, and this one, the FZ1000. So today, we're going to test it out, maximize its capabilities. And I'm really curious about this big lens, the Leica 25-400 lens. So join us today. We're going to test the Panasonic Lumix FZ1000. Fairly quiet here in the city of Manila. And when it's a holiday, mainly because there's someone special that's coming, none other than the Pope. The Pope himself will come here in the Philippines, and later on he will do his first motorcade here along Ross Boulevard to his official residence, the Pope Nunciature. Anyway, we're testing the FZ1000 here. Later we're gonna test its zoom range. But first, we're gonna take a look at the physical features of this camera. Number 1, it's light. It's incredibly light. You know, it's the shape of the DSLR, like the Nikon 5300 or the Canon, all this 100D, but it feels lighter. You know, it has a big lens, but it feels very, very light, yet it feels sturdy also. Speaking of the lens, it has a Leica Vario L Mark 2.8 to 4. So imagine the capability. You have the widest at 25mm, that's f2.8, and then 300mm, 400mm if you convert it at f4. So imagine that. Majority of the DSLRs have the 300mm at f4, that big ass lens. But this only have one lens. Everything is here when it comes to the lens. When you use the camera, you have 2 options to zoom. First is called the servo zoom, if you're familiar with the servo zoom. Instead of the power button here, there's here the find here the power button. This is the servo zoom, so you can zoom in. There you go, to 400mm, 35mm equivalent, or you zoom out. And also you have the option here if you want this ring here to be the zoom lens, the zoom option. So go zoom if you want to be precise, or what I personally like is to use it as the focus. Now, also in the lens, you have the optical image stabilizer, which helps a lot if you're shooting. Now, going on the top, the normal buttons, it's almost similar as the GH4. So the power is here, control dial, you find the burst options here, and then of course the hot shoe here, and then you have a pop-up flash there, so just easily pop the flash here. Also, you have the mic here at the side, and then like the GH4, it has 5 customizable buttons: function 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right there. It only has one dial, the rear dial here. So if you're on the manual mode, and then the default is it adjusts the shutter speed there. Now, if you want to change your aperture, you have to press the dial right there. So you have your aperture, and then press again. You want it to be on the shutter speed. Now, when you're on the aperture priority or the shutter priority, the press option is the exposure compensation. So for example, you're here at the aperture priority, you press it, and then you have the exposure compensation there. So operability wise, it's okay. What I also like about this is it has a macro capability, like a real macro capability. Let's test it over here. Still focuses at this close. This is about 2 inches. Still focus here. See, this is very close compared to a regular kit lens. So I think the biggest draw for here is the lens. The lens is the secret of the FZ1000. Imagine having f2.8 to 4 and then a very, very vast range on the zoom, 25 to 400 equivalent, and then 2.8 to 4. So far, so good. Lucky are those people who are there on top who are just waiting for the convoy of the Pope. Now, if you want to shoot this, then you're lucky enough if you have this camera. So let's try to shoot those people, and let's try to maximize 400 mm. So little by little, I zoom. Okay, see, this is 400 millimeters right here, and that's the widest. So imagine those tiny ants right there. You can zoom it in. This one, all just using one lens. So that's the benefit of using just one lens. That was a quick one. We didn't expect that quick. We hope we had a good shot of the burst mode. So maybe later we'll try to review the images. But that was very quick. We waited for so many hours, but that was just very quick. So that's it, everyone. Our initial test with the Panasonic Lumix FZ1000 overall. I really enjoyed shooting. You know, sometimes there are times that when I shoot, I have a wide lens and I have a telephoto lens at f2.8 or f4, but now I have only just one lens, and this is just light, as light as it can be. I just enjoyed shooting. So from thousands of people here in front of CCP, my name is Pedro Ian Lacsamana. See you next time.